Hello and welcome to Life Lessons with Barbara. I'm your host, Barbara Aline Johnson, and I am also the owner of BEJ Associates, a transformational coaching and consulting company. And my associates and I specialize in helping you break down those barriers that stand between you and the life you want to live or that business you want to create. And today I'm going to start a series of interviews so that you can get acquainted with some of my associates. So the first one you're going to hear from is Sterling Fulton. And Sterling is the owner and creator of Your Space to Thrive. And she's going to be telling you a little bit about that as we go through this interview. And she's also the author of The Brain Trust Planner. And it's an excellent guide. If you want to coach in a book, that's the one you want to get. So, but before I move on, I want to bring to your attention the beautiful theme music that's playing in the background, and that's After the Rain, a creation of the fabulous Lois Lady Mac McMorris. Hello, and welcome to Life Lessons with Barbara. Today, I have the honor of spending some time with a colleague, a friend, and an associate of my business, BEJ Associates. And she has her own thing going on, as do all the associates. And you'll get to hear all about them. And I'm going to let her introduce herself. I'll tell you her name, and she'll take it over from there. And ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Sterling Fulton.
Hi, Barbara. How are you? I'm so excited to be on your show. It's really funny because we talked about this several years ago, and to actually see you doing it now, I'm like, wow, so like really excited to be a guest on your show.
Thank you. And I am excited to have you. And so, I want you to, kind of give us a little background about you, because I take pride in the fact that when I recruit people who, are definitely credentialed, but especially passionate about what you do. And that's the thing that really, I said, this girl, she's, got great ideas. You're always coming, from a different angle. And I like that. I don't want us to be the run of the mill. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So give us tell the audience a little bit about your background, where you came from, and a little bit about your education and so forth.
Okay, well, we could start way back, but I'll give you the brief. I'm really very fortunate in the fact that I was born actually in the South, and I spent most of my childhood in the South. Although, I've also lived up north, so I've always considered myself bicultural, and having a little bit of the Southern, so I consider myself a Southern woman. I've been living in North Carolina for the past 17 years, and with that experience, just the life lessons of living in multiple different states and working with multiple different people has given me, I think, a pretty unique perspective on life, and not just to accept things the way people tell you. So that was one thing. And then also, I'm probably one of the most curious people you'll ever meet, because I always want to know why. I was like one of those kids, when I was like 2, why? And I've grown up into one of those adults, which is like, why? Well, why does this happen? And why does that happen? And so the combination of curiosity and just being raised and also exposed to different cultures and different environments has helped to support Your Space to Thrive. And my educational background, I have a Bachelor's of Arts degree from Hampton University. Woohoo, Hampton Pirates. in speech communication and theater arts. See, you know, but the funny thing is, and I don't say, yeah, well, the funny thing is, and I don't tell people this, I started off the first 2 years as biology pre-med. So I have all the science background, and then 2 years into it, I was like, oh, I don't think I want to do this. So I switched majors and completed a major in 2 years, which was insane at the time. It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay, so you got to graduate on time, even though you switched in midstream.
I did, because, you know, that was all I had. You know, it was like 2 years or not. So then I went and I have a graduate degree from Penn State. That's the Pennsylvania State University. And I went to school in Happy Valley, which was wonderful. And for those people who know anything about Penn State, and there's a whole bunch of people who do, you know, Happy Valley is located in State College. Love Penn State.
What was your major in for your graduate degree?
Oh, thank you. Health policy and administration.
Oh.
Yeah. So I took that and parlayed the speech communication and the health policy and administration. I've spent many years. I worked for a health insurer, major health insurer in New York. Then came down and moved to the Carolinas. Ended up working for the Attorney General's office for a while here in North Carolina, and then ended up working for an organization called the North Carolina Health and Wellness Trust Fund, which is a philanthropic organization. Absolutely loved my work experience. I have a great experience. Worked with some of the best people I think a person could possibly work with, all in the field of healthcare, healthcare policy. So that really is a strong point of mine. But what was very interesting is that it's not just, you know, the boring policy, the boring like health education, that kind of thing. I actually worked in a unique area in which we looked at data, and then we took data to match it to the needs of people or of, you know, customers and in doing that, which I still think is pretty interesting, in doing that, it opened up a world for me in which I've built my business. So Your Space to Thrive just isn't about helping people to improve in their lives, but it's also helping people to kind of pull back the layers in a very methodical way so that they can help them, you know, that they can grow into the person that they want to be. Okay. And yeah, and you've experienced that.
Yes. As a matter of fact, because, you know, we're going to reserve a nice block of time for you to tell us all about your Space to Thrive.
Yeah.
Well, right now, just kind of talk about it in terms of, you know, how you and I got on the same team.
Well, it was kind of funny. You know, working in the public sector as well as the private sector, I learned that there's certain procedures that you need to do to help you to know that you're on the correct road for success. And so, you know, moving into my own business, I didn't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because there really are some good things that we did. And I thought, hey, I'm going to use that. And one of those things is called pilot testing. And so with pilot testing, that just required me to, on a small scale, run what I wanted to do first and launch it and see if it worked before taking it to a larger scale. Mm-hmm. So I was like, cool. So you were one of the first people to undergo the Your Space to Thrive methodology. And I have to say, I think it's been a blessing.
Oh, yeah.
It's paid back multiple times.
And I just want to give a little bit of background. I had retired about 2 years. I'd already retired from my job, and that's a whole nother story, because I retired earlier than I had planned. And And I'm thinking, hey, this is kind of nice. I don't have to get up until I feel like it and all that. But
Yep.
kind of old after a while.
Yes.
But
yes.
yeah. And so you and I, we were attending the same church, and you got this brainstorm about, I want to start a mastermind group. See,
Yes.
that's the kind of thing you do. Do you realize that? I'm like, what's a mastermind group?
Yes.
And now my audience has been hearing about mastermind ever since, I've been on the radio. So.
It works.
It does.
It works.
For me, because I didn't want to work.
I know.
Do anything,
I know.
Okay, so,
well, not for you. Most people, not you.
Yeah, I know I was a challenge, but anyway, so from there, okay, kind of explain how yours the technique that you use was kind of in its infancy. So I was one of your earlier test cases, right?
Yeah.
So just kind of share how that went, because I don't think it's changed much, because that worked. It worked for me. So talk about that.
Well, what I get people to do is I get people to look at the outcome of what they want for their life, and then they work it backwards. So, and not to be unrealistic with their outcome, but actually to get in contact with what it is that they want, the look, the feel, the touch of it, the experience of it, and then figure out a way of how they're going to get there. So it's a series of processes which helps people to do that.
So when you call that helping a person get in touch with their innermost desires, I mean, in terms of, it's a kind of soul searching that people don't ordinarily do without some facilitation.
Yes. And it's I take you through a series of processes, a series of questions, a series of just how you can, and these are things that I've learned over time in business. I've learned these over time, like I said, working for a not-for-profit, working for a for-profit, and working for a government agency. There's a lot of similarities. People focus on the differences, but they don't focus on the similarities. So there are a lot of similarities, and getting people to get in touch with what it is that they truly want. And it's funny, I like to describe it like a lot of people, what they say that they want, well, I want to be wealthy, and I want to have $1 million in the bank, and I want to never have to worry about bills or anything like that. Well, most people, what they don't do is they don't examine why they want that.
Well, that's all, folks. I thank you for tuning in, and I hope you'll tune in again next week for Life Lessons with Barbara, Saturday at 9 a.m. And I'm going to give a quick shout out to Wdrb Media for making this opportunity possible for me to share my life lessons with you. And, well, next week we'll continue with the interview with Sterling Fulton, and she's going to tell on me about what a terrible workshop participant I was. But she was more than able to meet the challenge, and I will be forever grateful. Until then, check out our website, BEJ-Associates.com. Again, that's BEJ-Associates.com. After the rain, but you'll also be able to see as well as see past shows that we've done. And if you want to hear this one again, go to the website and hit the radio tab, and you'll be there. You'll be at the archives, and you'll see all the shows that we've done since the beginning, I think since January. Okay, so with that said, it's time for the life lesson for the week. I think one that is most appropriate would be keep an open mind. We're never too old to learn something new. We're never too old to rethink something we thought we knew. Keep an open mind. Namaste.